Hey guys, Brandon here, coming at you with another MLB the Show video. Today we're going to talk about the Silver and Speed event and who you should put in the spots that you have available. So let's jump right into it. As we make our way over to events, criteria include silver and common players or players with 85 plus speed. So you can always have a gold or a diamond with 85 plus speed. Max player can only be 87 overall, 90 or 63 overall minimum. Team max is 75, so you gotta find a good balance. Focus on the fact that there's 3 inning games. So if we go into it, what I would recommend for all the starting pitchers, just go find the bottom 5 and put those in your guys' starting rotation. 3 inning games, just like Battle Royale, you're going to want to switch out those starting pitchers as fast as possible. So it's going to lead us to the relief pitchers. Make sure for your relief pitchers, I would recommend having 3 or 4 of them in the 60s, because remember you have a max of 75 for your team. 2 righties and a lefty is what I'd go with. Try to keep them in as long as possible because you only have 3 options. After each game they will reset, like energy wise, so you don't really have to worry about that. So just find 2 right-handed pitchers that are up or are still a high overall. I wouldn't do anybody who's down unless you're not planning on playing today, but even then it's risky just knowing that they could go down because you don't want to have this guy in. He's registered as a 79 and he only plays like a 74 for you. You're better off having just a 75 or something on your team. So I don't know why. Oh, because it doesn't show you the upgraded. Yeah, so Rogers is an 81, so we got him. All my righties don't want to play up to like an 80 or anything like that. I guess he does. So I could put him in and we'll still be okay. So your team's going to be boosted. You want to focus on the boosted players in your team. So now I freed up a little bit more space. If I wanted to, maybe I can throw another pitcher in. Let's go find a little bit of a lower right hand, or let's go with the left-hander that can. Yeah, so see I got 4 bullpen arms right there because I freed up that one spot just by going a little bit lower, guys with boosts. If you just feel like you might use your lower overall people, just, I don't know if any of them are playing up, like this guy 63 up. He's actually a 68 instead of a 63, so you guys can go for that. So just look at all your 63s and see if any of them are up, which is kind of easy to do since they're already so low. They can have 1 star and be up sometimes. Closing pitcher's the same thing. Just balance that with your righties and lefties. So Strope versus any of these righties actually. So we got an 83, 82. Who else do I even have? No, it's just 83 and 82. So since Strope's an 83, I can always pop one of my guys in. I don't know if he'll, yeah, he just made that not work, so you can take some time to fiddle with it, but we're not going to really. So just make sure starting pitchers are commons, bullpen 3 or 4 commons, and the rest can be good people who are playing up. Use them wisely in this, because once they come out, they're not going to enter back in, but their energy will regain. For a catcher, Gary Sanchez is always a good choice. He's up a lot of the time. He might have bronze fielding, but that's just because of his arm accuracy. He actually fields at an 81, so he's going to look higher when you're actually in the game. His vision's a little low, but I don't know what you could ask for from silver catchers. Kurt Suzuki also has super high vision. He'll play good for you. Don't necessarily just go for the highest overall people. Salvador Perez is always good. as well as Wilson Ramos, but I just like the other two options a little better. If you got anybody who's playing super high up, you can always feel free to use those guys. Obviously, I don't have all the players in the game, I just have a lot of them. So we're going to first baseman. Gotta find a first baseman that fits you nicely. He's got really high vision, so if you want to go with Jackie Robinson, I just don't feel like he's worth the 83 spot on my team, because then I'm going to have to cut somebody. Edwin Encarnacion, really good against righties, which is probably what you'll face to start off for the most part. Besides that, Silver Chris Sale, that'll probably make an appearance every time. He's got 60 vision, so that's why I didn't choose him. Jose Abreu, just a little bit better vision, but he's playing plus 15 right, which his right's the lowest thing for him, so now his right's better than his left, and his left isn't bad at all. So I went for Jose Abreu. You don't really need any certain fielding at first base. Muncie's just got too low a vision. But if you do like Yuli Gurriel, he's playing up. He's got high vision. He's always a good option for you. Besides that, just go over some people, make sure they have decent vision. You're not going to need too high a vision. You're not going to be facing diamonds or anything like that. So it's not a big deal. But as for second baseman, I don't necessarily think that you should go crazy and pick a high overall one. I like D. Gordon just because of his vision and contact. He reminds me of one of those like 90 overalls who just barely puts in the outfield, but he's just such a pain to get out because he's fast and everything. So D. Gordon at second base, I like him there. It's fast and everything. Heading over to third base, starting third baseman, Mike Moustakas. Got good vision. He's pretty good versus righty. Obviously, you can go with any alternative. Kyle Seager's also a good one. He's got plus 16. Too bad his is versus left, which should be good against Chris Sale, but I just don't like lefty versus lefty matchups, so he's just not who I went with. I don't really have a whole plethora of third basemen, so I just went with what I had. Starting shortstop, I got Trevor Story. His vision's low, but he hits so well with all of his other stats. I feel like I'd use him. He's fast, so I did sacrifice him and Ronald Acuna, as you can see, as my golds, and obviously Trey Turner. You don't have to, you can, if you got another good guy that you can put in instead of like a Trey Turner, you can always bump Trey Turner to a different position anyway, make him your third baseman instead of Moustakas and put him on your bench, or if any of your other positions have a good gold that you want to use, feel free to use those instead of two shortstops, because he's on the bench just wasting a spot right now. So now he's in my lineup, so he could also play second base, but I do like D. Gordon. Mike Moustakas is now a pinch hitter. He hits well versus righties though, so it's not a big deal. So we did that. Ronald Acuna, he's just such a good hitter, so fast. I couldn't pass him up. He's a diamond in the rough for this. I haven't had much success with Joey Gallo. Every once in a while I do. So if you do want him as a bench bet, feel free, but it's just not for me personally. Got center field. I always go with Billy Hamilton, just super fast. He's obviously not the best hitter, but if he hits a ball on the ground, he's always got a chance to beat it out and just be a threat on the bases. Willie Mays, I feel like you'd be wasting a spot for him when you could just pick up anybody else for his position. Then my right fielder. Oh yeah, the gem. What's he even at? Is he not even a right fielder? Is he left? Oh yeah. Chris Davis, he's such a good hitter. I'm going to give him plus 16 for righties. I'm willing to sacrifice defense for hitting in this game, just being 3-inning games anyway. I hit really good with it. So, if you like Chris Davis, you can always put him in and give him a try. Then for the bench, depends on what you have left. If you should sacrifice one of your spots for a common and then be able to put another gold on your team, that's up to you. I feel like that's the best option, is to put a common somewhere where you won't use it. Like Mike Moustakas, I probably won't use him maybe even Kyle Schwarber, so putting those commons, doesn't really matter who it is, honestly, unless you need a defensive replacement, then you can do that. Just have at least a good right-handed hitter, a good left-handed hitter, a speed demon, and then you give yourself another chance to put another gold in. Like if I was actually going about that, Jackie Robinson, man, I still got more. And then, Jesus, this opens up a lot of opportunities. Obviously, at this point, I'm just putting them in random spots, but putting those 2 people on the bench that are just commons will really open up your team to more golds. You're going to have like a full gold lineup versus the people you're playing like I do. Besides Billy Hamilton and Gary Sanchez, Gary plays like a gold anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. And Billy's just super fast, so very good at defense. So make sure you have any of these people can be replaced. Matt Carpenter's hitting up. I really like his stance and how he hits, so I use him. Byron Buxton, always make sure you have a pinch runner just in case. Try to make sure your commons play different positions, some good positions that they can fill in case your pinch runner. Make them in opposite positions of your pinch runner, so that if you need a defensive replacement, you'll have somebody for each position. And then that's pretty much it. Just have him, just because he's good against lefties. He'd be my pinch hitter versus lefties. I'll probably go through and have to sort them out, see who's better at what. Obviously, I'd have Chris Davis in over him if I had the choice, but Chris Davis would be in my starting lineup, and I just replaced him just for time's sake anyway. So that's pretty much it. We'll go through it real quick one more time. Starting rotation, all commons. Got the bullpen, 3 or 4 commons, and then 3 or 4 good pitchers. They will regenerate their energy and make sure they're up so they're playing better. Bench, have 2 commons, and then a fast guy, a good guy against righties, a good guy against lefties. Because it's 3 innings, you won't use your full bench anyways most of the time. And then for the rest, just make sure they're all people that can play good positions for you. You can spaz by having a lot of golds, since you followed having 2 defensive, or I guess defensive substitutions who are only 63 overall. And make sure you're switching out that pitcher as fast as possible and using those bullpen guys, and you should find a lot of success. So if you guys need anything else from me, leave it in the comments below. Stub making methods are always in the process of doing those. Subscribe if this helped you out, or just subscribe if you want to see some more videos in the future. I post daily, and free-to-play player with about 400,000 stubs. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you later. See ya.